Thank you very much, Matt. And as you mentioned, I was so excited to be there in person, but I shared with Caroline and others and my daughter. I was in 4 hours in the doctor appointment, which it's just not possible for me to be there in person. But this virtual experience just is so exciting and. At the beginning I was so mad at myself that I couldn't be there in person, but I learned so much and in having so much fun using this virtual platform. And thank you again for the experience. And one thing I want to mention is really um, for FinTech for Good, and then I launched it in 2017. And with at that time, that's with the goal to just through incubation, acceleration, and building blockchain and other emerging technology-based startups, and with the goal to address the sustainable development goals. Because I used to work for World Bank, United Nations, and then SDG or sustainable development have always been one of the core thing in my career. And I saw the power of blockchain, and so got so excited, and so let me just help innovators, entrepreneurs to build it. And in between that, I have the opportunity to just join the AWS, leading the public sector financial institution vertical. And there that I had the opportunity to um, uh, really interact with all the emerging technologies because I shared with the group virtually that because I love all the emerging technology, and I do think that by combining the power of all emerging technology, and our customers can really solve the problem, and then in the best way. And so that's why I define my group's strategy as helping our customers to managing assets, managing risk, managing stakeholder, managing data, and each one of them really talking specific on one emerging technology. I had the opportunity to work on metaverse, AI, blockchain, and cloud computing for sure. And after that, I went back to the startup space and launched the AI 2030. And the goal of AI 2030 is really to mainstream responsible AI. And while everyone is crazy about AI, and then my goal is that help folks enterprises to understand the risk, and also to just while harvest the innovation, while also mitigate the risk, and also make sure that AI is delivering benefit to humanity, and rather than to pose risk to the humanity. And the way how we do that is really through creating this global movement. Within 16 months, that's we are able to just grow a membership base from zero to over 2,000 members, and they are across 18 countries, and many of them have very similar background with me, working in a big tech, and on a daily basis, and deliver emerging technology based solution, especially AI based solution to customers. And we see the risk of the technology, and then we care about it, and we want to just do something about it. And then this is the group coming together, and then we do three things. And number one is that we continue to build the membership, and where that's we're looking to how to empower each other to just take on responsible AI leadership. If people don't know about it, don't care about it, don't know care about, don't know what to do about it, and also if they want to do something about it but don't know where to find the tools, where to find talent, and then that's all what we do. And to educate, to build tools, to make tools easily to be available. And so the reason why we think this is very important is that also if you just look at AI 2030 as an organization's name, we think responsible AI is urgent, and by 2030, and we if we don't do anything, and by 2030 it might be already too late. We, as humanity enter into a stage where there's a tipping point, there's no way back, and or if there's a way back, the cost to humanity is too great. So we need to just do that later. I will explain what do we mean by 2030, what are the goals and all that. And another point of that is, when people talk about responsible AI, and I talk to many of the corporate CXOs and on AI or responsible AI, and I heard a lot that people, there are a number of myths, and which are, number one is that if we do it responsibly, naturally it slow us down, and that will just cause our progress, and cause the customer experience and all that. um, the truth is that doing it responsibly can protect your customer and protect your brand, and also can potentially do it in the right way without correcting it in the future. We all know in AI that's learning is easy, but unlearn itself is very difficult. If you don't do it responsibly, and if you want your AI to unlearn, that you will just cost a lot more money or dollars, if compare that to doing it responsibly. Just broadly speaking, that the last slide, that when we just talk about the global scale, and from McKinsey's report, that by 2030, and then they project that there are $13 trillion of GDP will be impacted by AI or generated by AI. And of course, if different consulting firms are giving different number, but each firm always, the number is definitely over $1 trillion. And among that $1 trillion, if you see that, and then they call something as externality, or transition cost and all that, that itself amount to $7 trillion. And as we can see, broadly speaking, and then that $7 trillion is one way or another, it has something to do with responsible AI. So the message there is that responsible AI is also a $1 trillion business. So that itself just see the scope and also the scale of the work. Next slide, please. And so when we started to trying to say, hey, our goal is to mainstream responsible AI, and the number one question I got is always, what do you mean by responsible AI? And so this is how we started, when we have not 2,000 people but just 20 people, and we started to define for AI 2030 what is responsible AI, and how differentiate is our responsible AI framework with others. And we interestingly, we come with our unique proposition, because number one, we are not government, and we are not corporate, and we are not international organizations. We are some bottom up initiative, and individuals, professionals, AI experts who care about it, want to do it in the right way, so we can be more free about what is all our framework coming up. We came up with our framework in the way that what we as experts in the space think the right way to do it, and so we don't need to compromise as a government, or we don't need to compromise as a corporate, and then it's really free from our mind. And there that we come with 6 pillars, and make AI transparent, accountable, fair, safe, secure, sustainable, and privacy preserved. Each one of them are dealing with some fundamental human rights or development related angle. And we take example, and a lot of responsible AI framework don't really include the accessibility part. But if you just look at AI model training that by 2030 occupy over 6% of greenhouse gas emission. And naturally, that if we don't address it, and if nobody really just push for it, and then that itself could just jeopardize energy security for many, and make many of who are don't have energy access postpone the time where that they may just be able to access to electricity and all that. And similarly, that's privacy preservation, accountability, and a lot of them are very important or heavily related to some of the fundamental rights for humans, like privacy, and like the ability to know, and the transparency and all that. Next slide, please. So the reason why we call ourselves as 2030, and also we want to have the goal mainstream responsible AI, we have to just share with our community what do we mean by mainstreaming, and how do we measure our success. So these are the goals that we define for ourselves. And by 2030 we developed 9 goals, and each goal just talking about the 6 pillars, and we cannot work on all the goals all together. So by in 2025, that's we are working on the implementation of 3 goals, and we're still just doing consultation, getting input to improve the other goals. And the 3 goals that's which we are working on. Number one is by 2030 that we want to empower over 100,000 individual to take on responsible AI leadership through training, and create 50,000 jobs. And that itself, we have a certified responsible AI leaders program, and where that we provide training on this topic, trying to enable many more industry leaders who really know how to do AI responsibly. And we currently working with many universities, in specifically, Purdue University, Washington University, and quite a few universities in different countries, try to scale our impact that way. The second part is that we try to address the
Zhao, I don't.
fairness.
Hey,
Yes,
Xiaochen. Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
we have to wrap up in just a second here. Sorry about that. We're a
of
little over
course.
on time.
Yeah, not a problem. And the second goal is really on the fairness part, and we want to just define a goal by 2030, and at least 50% of data for AI model training coming from diversity data. We have the AI 2030 data challenge. The last one is really around the interoperability of AI governance. And then through our AI global regulation index, we try to help government to understand how to just define, regulate AI in a way which don't create silos. Those are some of the core things that we are doing. Yeah.